welcome back to my channel. My name is Brenda Kimbi, and today, as you can all see, as you can all feel the energy we are having. Wait a minute. The truth is, when person pass you, carrying back. I am privileged on this channel today, honored to have the beautiful, intelligent, consistent Juditha.
Consistent. I'm still thinking about
on our channel. Please, people should shower how we love in the comment section. With so much love. It's such an honor. Thank you so much. I am so humbled to have you on the channel today.
I'm glad to have myself on the channel today. I'm happy.
Guys, trust me, when you see Juditha in person, it's not the first time I'm meeting you, but let me just say it. She actually looks better in person than when you look at her from the camera. So you can imagine, this camera is dulling some of us our shine. So today...
Thank you. You're just hyping me from left, right, center.
I'm not hyping it. So today on the video, we'll be talking about individuality in marriage. And Juditha is married and she has kids and she's young, and you know, so I just felt like bringing her to talk about this topic is very interesting because I know she's married to a very purposeful person, a God-fearing man, and I would want to love her own opinion. She's been married for some years, better than I am, so I felt like bringing her to the channel to spice you guys all with some insights for marriage. I just want us to share and talk about individuality in marriage. So Juditha, welcome once again.
Thank you. Hi guys.
You don't have anything to say to my subscribers?
Please subscribe if you have not subscribed.
Thank you. They're watching, they're not subscribing.
No, so well. I know when you go to analytics, you're like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so the first thing I would like to understand is, let us talk about any kind of relationship. Is individuality important for any kind of relationship?
Outside marriage.
Outside marriage, like friendships and everything.
Yes, I think individuality. Can we define individuality? Yeah. What's individuality?
For me, individuality is having a sense of self, of you, of your perfections, your imperfections, your strengths, your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, like how you define yourself as a person. Yeah.
Separate from what people think and what people expect of you.
Separate from what you're attached to, like your status. So who you are first individually, without any attachment or anything. That's individuality.
Yeah, I think that individuality is very important in every relationship. It's very important because that's what helps you to be able to stand out.
Okay.
It helps you to be able to, you know, sometimes you tend to shrink your uniqueness.
Yeah. Because
you see other people doing certain things, you see them act a certain way, and you almost feel like who you are or what's unique about you is not so special. So you now you want to sink into who this person is or who this group of people are. So I think it's very important to know who you are, to understand what's unique about you and how to give it out to the world without feeling guilty or without feeling like you have to tone it down. Yeah, in as much as you're not hurting anybody, you're not trying to overpower anybody or anything. You're just being you and shining as you were supposed to shine.
Okay. So individuality is very important in any relationship, be it friendships, be it family ties, be it whatever, mentorship, coaching. Individuality is important because that's where your strength lies as a person.
You know, when you mention family, it's something that is very, like, you just brought a memory to me. Like, in a home, you have 4 kids and they are so different.
Exactly.
This one loves football, this one doesn't want to see football, this one, like, they can be so different, even in terms of, like, one of them might be very fashionable, very outgoing, and the other is just so so everybody has their own. There's something about you that makes you you. Yeah. There might be a lot of similarities even between, like, family, brothers, sisters, but then there's a lot of things that makes each one of you unique, even twins. Yeah,
that's very important. And talking about today, since we're talking about individuality in marriage, I want to make it more practical because I'm the kind of person I am not very good with theories. I love practicals in the sense of when I got married, before I got married, I was a little bit concerned because my husband's personality and I is too separate, like we're completely different. But at the same time, we blend perfectly. So at some point I was like, but why do people actually try to compromise who they are like in marriage and everything. So why do you think some people always try to, if you're outgoing or if you're sanguinated, don't you think it's a strength? Why do you think some people, when it comes to marriage, or you see some spouses when they're around their partners, they are different than when they're with their friends, they're cool, they're different? Why do you think there is that imbalance when it comes to personality types
in marriage?
That's
a difficult one to explain, but I think that, like, for me, actually, I don't think I'm the same with my husband like the way I'm with my friend. It depends on how you have your relationship with your partner.
Okay.
So if I would say my husband is my friend, but he became my friend in the course of the marriage.
Of course.
Yes. If you watch the video of how I met my husband, he was my boss. So I think it depends on your relationship that you have with your husband. Just imagine a couple that, let's say, they met when they were in Form 2 or Form 1. Their kind of friendship that they'll have will be just something else, as compared to a couple that just met. So I think it depends on your relationship that you have with your spouse, and it's a different thing if you're totally, or maybe you're scared of your partner, or no. But if there's I don't know, and then at times I also feel like women become very emotional when they're around their husbands or maybe boyfriends or something, because we're talking about marriage, husbands. So I think sometimes that part of you that is very loud and whatsoever might shrink a bit when you're with that person, but it doesn't mean that you're two-faced or you have it's just something that happens when you're with this person.
So what you're trying to say is relationship is a must when you're trying in gaining that balance, because it will all depend, because sometimes
you cannot be the same with everybody.
Of course.
If you go to, let's say you go to a place to church, there are people in church that when you meet you're like, oh my God, it's been so long. There are people that when you meet you're like, good morning, sir. So true. With different people you have a different way of interacting. And I just think that it's just about the kind of relationship and how you build it.
And the thing is, I always tell, like, talking about individuality, right? I always tell people individuality is not just for the positives, it's also for the negatives. Because what makes marriage beautiful for me, I think it's the fact that you can be totally vulnerable with one another. Like those imperfections, those weaknesses, sometimes you'll be like, oh babes, let's hang on this project, and babes is like, no, we have to wait, we have to pray about it and all of that. So I feel like, let's talk about vulnerability in marriage and how it's important when it comes to individuality. Because most times I feel like people are not completely themselves because they don't want to be taken advantage of. There are some men who, I am not ashamed to tell my husband, babes, I'm not good with finances. He knows. I don't know if you understand, but because of that, because it's part of, that's what makes me an individual. The fact that I cannot manage money properly, or he's better, let me not say cannot manage, he's better at managing money than I am. So some people, individuality is not just about the positives. That's what I'm trying to say. It's also about the negatives. So what do you think, what could be the restraining factor that some women actually hold on to that negative side, like they hide it from their spouses?
I think it goes back against relationship. It goes back against relationship. If you, I don't understand how you can have your partner and he doesn't know your flaws. He doesn't know something you're scared of. He doesn't know. It's just,
no, some women, let's be honest, I think we should be balanced. There are some women who they've tried to be clear about it, but their husbands use it maybe to laugh at them. Or true, it happens.
Did you pray before you married that man?
No, I'm serious. There are some men, you'll be totally honest with him, and then the next thing,
I also like us to be balanced, because women too.
That's true.
Women too can use.
That's true. It can be vice versa. Some women too will use their husband's weaknesses. There is nothing wrong. I feel like the problem is a stereotype thing where it's like a man is supposed to do that, a woman is supposed to. There is nothing wrong if a strength I lack, if you have it, it works for us.
That's the beautiful thing about marriage. I got a different revelation about marriage. Like I was telling you earlier, a couple of weeks back, I was watching a video by Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo, and he said that marriage is a covenant. And he gave this illustration. He said, when you're getting married, what happens is, you as an individual, you die, your husband dies, then you both now come together and resurrect as one. So if you have this notion in your head that we are one, his weakness is your weakness, and your strength is his strength. So for example, if I cannot manage money, it doesn't mean that we cannot manage money. It means that I have that weakness, but there's somebody that can bear that burden of my weakness. And then there is something else that I can do that probably maybe he can't do. So we are just how do I put it? It's like he said, what happens is, you are the man. Let's say you are the man, I'm the woman. you don't have a left hand.
Yeah.
You have a right hand.
Just the right.
I don't have a right hand. I have a left hand.
Yes.
So in our union as one, I am the
Mm-hmm.
left hand and you are the right hand, and
Okay.
all your strength,
Mm-hmm.
you have strength in your right hand. I have strength
The
in my
left.
left hand. So we are strength.
Okay.
There's no
Oh,
weakness.
That's true.
So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I have my individual weaknesses. You have yours. But if we decide to try to say, okay, let's bring in your strength, I bring in my strength, we become strength, and then the weakness dies because we have chosen to bury the weaknesses and focus on the strength.
Wow. Means oneness can be used to summarize the problems that arises because of individuality.
Yes.
I love that. I love that perspective because even when I was trying to write down the points for this video, I did not even look at it from that light. Do I believe in oneness? But I never knew it's just the best way to resolve individuality, because if you truly understand that this person is a team player, it's a teammate, and we're in this together. When the one person is on the field, the other person is there cheering the partner up.
You just reminded me of something. When we got married, I used to, in my mind, I used to compare with my husband.
Okay.
I wasn't really cheering him on, and I've told him that before. Like I used to feel bad because I was always at home.
Women always feel that.
Yeah, I used to feel he was achieving, he was traveling, he was attending seminars, he was doing this. And I'm somebody, I like to speak. I like to be in places where I like to be at seminars. I like to do this. But I got pregnant. I was always at home.
So many things were happening at the same time.
Yeah, and that's actually, I think that's where this YouTube thing was birthed from, because I'm two-sided. Like I have this desire to be home, to take care of my kids and to be there, but I also want to be in the outside world. And this platform now gives me an opportunity to be out there. So I think I'm taking us back to that point, because I wasn't a team player.
Yeah.
I was cheering him on, I was praying, I was wishing him well. You know when you wish somebody well, but when it happens, you're like, oh my God, he's going ahead, I'm just here. I'm just here. Like when he traveled for his masters, like, and even in recent times, like I said, it's just 2 weeks ago that I had this revelation of oneness. Even in recent times, there are times when I made statements like, oh, you went ahead to study, you did your masters and you left, I should be able to just do like some kind of, but it's a win for the units, because I'm no more me, he's no more him, we are now one.
And thank God for platforms like YouTube, because I feel like every woman, I don't think it's only you, every woman sometimes, because most times we tend to compromise a lot.
Yeah.
So we always find ourselves at the receiving end.
Yeah.
And because the men, the way we were wired, even naturally, like physically, most times we always have to step down to understand, to trust me, I cannot find a number of times where you're like, I want to leave this job. But I don't even think it crosses my husband's mind, because we're wired differently.
Yeah.
We're looking at different things.
And I think a lot of women are trying to deny who we are, how we were made, and it's just impossible, because you see a woman who is climbing the ladder in her career, but silently within, she's thinking about her home, she's thinking about her child, she's thinking about oh my God, did I that food, did I, but the man is just flying. If he has a meeting now, he will just be, he will not, the food should get bad.
But I also think that is like our strength, because we can multitask.
Yeah, and we are trying to deny that strength by saying, like, women are saying, oh, I'm a king. I'm a queen.
I'm a queen.
I'm a queen.
That's a new trend online now.
I'm a queen.
King this, king that.
No.
No, we are strong like this. I don't even want to be any king. I am a queen.
Why?
I beautifully wear my crown and I take my place, knowing that it has its place. I feel like I really love this conversation, because most times people think that when you get married, you just throw away your old self and then you now become this. Like there's a mirror, like there's this way that the world, society expects you to be like a woman. But today we are just here to tell you that no, that's not the case. You can perfectly be yourself, as long as it doesn't be a problem in your marriage, in your union, and most especially to yourself. Just have fun. Fun.
Yeah. I also think that if even before, the thing is, a lot of problems happen before the marriage, not even in the marriage.
True.
If you're praying to meet a partner, and you're building yourself and you're communicating with God, and God is building your partner, there's always going to be something about you
at the end that you can follow together.
Yeah, there's always going to be something that both of you have like in common. I don't think that people can just get married and they have nothing in common.
No, I strongly believe that when couples come together, there's always a spiritual alignment. There's always the core of the legacy they're trying to build.
Yeah.
Is for them to identify. Like I always tell people, I do content. My husband is behind the scenes doing what he has to do, and so many other people we see online and everything. We discover that there's always that partnership.
There's a fit.
Like we see most times we comment in YouTubers comment section will be like association of YouTube husbands.
I'm telling you,
honestly, if your husband is not very supportive, you cannot even really do this job. You can do it, but it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be smooth.
That's why we're always celebrating when we see a husband who we beg them to please come to the channel, and then we see them trying to come and support and do one or two things. It's really, really encouraging. But okay, now let's take it a little bit out of marriage. How do you think women can overcome that fear of I'm not enough? Let me not say women. Let me balance it. Both men and women. If you can answer that.
But it's okay to talk about women because I think that's where you are more.
Yeah. How do you think we can overcome that? Oh, am I good enough? Am I overdoing it? Because men, he achieves his goals, he's doing his things, he's fine with it.
Right.
But you're at work, you're thinking about food, your children, is the house organized and everything. How can we actually get to that place where we're like, oh, I'm proud of myself?
I think that it starts from a place of really just setting your priorities straight. Knowing, and I think sometimes we just don't even give ourselves credit.
That's true.
Like you do so much and then I do that a lot. And a lot of times my husband he'll be looking at me like, why are you complaining? Like, are you not seeing what you're doing? Because there are times when I'll just be like, oh my god, I'm not doing enough. I should have. And he'll be like, I don't understand.
You're doing a good job.
Yes, and so it happens, and just imagine that it happens to women who are even in higher levels of like achievement. Yeah. So I think that it's you prioritizing and then realizing that it's not even you doing it, God is just doing it through you.
Amen.
When you don't take the glory, just do it, and in your weaknesses allow him be your strength. Like in those periods where you feel down, you feel like, oh, I'm not able to do this, I cannot do this, just like sometimes it's just for you to just take a breath and know that whatever it is that you've even achieved that you think you were taking glory for, don't take glory, just let it be. It's God who did it. And so in this moment where you're thinking that you cannot, if you think you cannot do it, it means you are trying to limit God.
That's true.
If you think you're not achieving, you're actually limiting God, because after all the times when you fell down, he has picked you up, he has given you the strength to push forward, and then you still get back into that place. I'm speaking to myself.
No, we're actually talking to ourselves, because that's one thing I tell people. Even when we talk, yes, it's like you're going back down memory lane, and it's very important. I also think that women need to, as women, we're talking about individuality, right? We need to be able to get to that place where we can say, I need a break. Most times individuality is a problem too, because we are not men. We cannot be men. I don't know. And I think it's same for the men. Sometimes my husband will see me doing a lot of things. I go to work at the same time, I rush the market and all of that. I can multitask. He has his own places of strength. It's important for us to know, okay, I can't go beyond this. I feel like the African woman was wired to take more than she can chew.
Material.
Yeah, 1,000 yards. So you get my point. I feel like we need to learn, because it's from a place of rest that we can reset. Most women don't reset because we were not raised to take breaks, to go on retreat. We were raised that dad is in the parlor watching TV and he's changing the channel. Mom is cooking,
shouting at the children, ironing uniform.
Yeah. So individuality also comes from that place of you can be honest with one another and say, I need a break. Like, you just need to find yourself back to be able to give, because remember the Bible says out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. So how do you even give what you don't have? So in marriage, I feel like individuality, taking breaks, resetting is important in finding yourself in order to be able to be a better partner.
So I just think that finding yourself, I know a lot of people have heard this, like a lot of, if you watch marriage videos, people will tell you, but it doesn't become a reality to you until you see. Like the past 6 months of my life, I've been learning a lot. I've been studying the word. I've been trying to just build myself, and I feel like I'm coming into me. Yes, and it's making more sense. I'm understanding why God put me in this place. I'm getting to understand a lot of things, and it's easy for me now to. It even eases submission.
Yeah,
in
that's
marriage.
True. That's
yes.
True.
So I think it's really just find yourself, find your purpose. Be confident in yourself. And one way you can be confident in yourself is if you know your weaknesses.
Of course.
You know your physical flaws, the things that you feel like. For every individual, you have your like the side of your body that you think, oh, this is pretty. When you want to snap, all of those things is okay. It's okay to admit those things about yourself. And from there, you have confidence. It's like if you have a secret and you go out and speak about the secret, nobody can hold it against you. So when you identify those things yourself about you, even from within, you know where there's a weakness and you try to work on it. I always say, oh, I have a problem with reading. I did not used to like reading, but I'm trying to work on it. And I know that it's very important. I've seen that there's so much in books that if you go into books, it's just going to bless you and build you. So I know that that's my weakness and I'm working on it. Nobody can use it against me. So even in marriage, identifying your weakness, accepting your partner for who they are, knowing your purpose, and just blending in, just praying God will help.
God will help, and God always help, and God has always been helping. Most times it's just because we are so busy, we cannot really pick on those signals. Everything is in the Word of God. Everything is within you. You just need to spend time to be able to discover, to be able to work on those things. I always tell people it's not about knowledge, it's Rema. Because what we say, as long as it's not Rema to you, it's not going to make any difference. We can talk about individuality, and let's establish this truth. The individuality is not like trying to do something out of your marriage. The individuality is bringing everything on the table. The individuality is not just okay, I want to win alone. No, it's bringing all the cards on the table so that the union can be successful. It's true that you're different. You can be very different from your spouse, but it can also work together it can also work for the both of you. Lastly, okay, as we round up, I want you, do you feel like this individuality factor has made more marriages or it has broken more marriages?
I think that it depends on how they are defining individuality. Because if I'm to be honest, I think there's been times when I've thought about myself a lot. It's when you're selfish. The word individuality actually I don't know, I'm getting the word is not really
get uncomfortable.
It's not really something that I would want to use again. Like like I want to be I don't know, I want to be unique. I want to bring my uniqueness to the table, into the marriage, but I don't want to think of me as an individual anymore. So I would say, honestly, it just depends on how people see the word individuality. In terms of people thinking, oh, I want to accomplish, I want to do this, it will break marriages. I want to be like this, I want to do this. What about we want to do this? We want to be like this. So I think
what you have and what I have to be able to.
So I think if I'm to look at it the way I understand the word and the way the way I understand the word, I would say that it will break more marriages. But if it is in terms of your individual uniqueness, using it as an advantage to the union, then it's going to make lots of marriages.
I understand what she's just trying to establish a balance for the subject, because we're not trying to be one-sided. We're trying to look at it from two perspectives, because the truth is human beings are very selfish. That's why marriage is an institution of service, because you serve one another. So when we're talking about individuality, there are two perspectives. There's an angle of, if you allow it work for you, it will work for you, but you can still make it not work for you. We're in Africa, we're in Cameroon to be precise, you have situations where women will have savings that their husbands don't know about it. Whereas the ability to save is a strength for the union. Like, you can actually use that as a strength. But you see some women build houses, same like men. Men will have properties, they'll have investments, their partners are not aware of it. You understand? Because there's that aspect of greed, of me, the me factor, me, myself, and I. What am I going to lose? What am I going to gain? He will, his. So there's a lot of,
and you know, that will stem from a place of lack of trust.
So it's just about the angle you really want to look at it. But now let us conclude on this note, right? Let's talk about it from the kingdom perspective, because we've already spoken about oneness. So now we're throwing more light on the positive side of it. I want you to, what are your final words? How do you think Christian marriages can better navigate using their uniqueness in making the marriage work?
So I think that you need to value what God has placed in you to use and serve your marriage.
Okay.
There's something about you, there's something in you that would serve a greater purpose in your marriage. And it might be something, I don't know, just like, okay, the husband was setting up this and he was doing all of this for you. It's serving the marriage, because it's not like it's just
for me.
It's not like it's just for you.
That's
I mean, it's you who is the face of this, it's you doing all of this, but you can't really perform in the public light well if inside here you're not, it's not helping you flourish. So I think that using our individual skills and everything, bringing it into the marriage positively, it's good, and killing the negative skills that we have, killing them and keeping them aware, working on them and making them better. I think that's what I have to say.
And I'm just going to conclude by saying that everything you have from God gave you for a reason. It mustn't be only for marriage, it could be to serve even humanity. So how you navigate these skills, how you navigate these talents, how you navigate these strengths, these weaknesses is going to determine a lot for you, be it in career, be it in marriage. As we earlier said, we're talking about individuality from the kingdom perspective. It's oneness in marriage and understanding your strengths and seeing how to put those strengths on the table. So please guys, as we conclude, rush to Juditha's channel and show her some love. Subscribe to her channel. As I earlier said, she's already doing a lot. We are so humbled to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy that finally, after how many months,
see guys, we postponed this video. Anyways, that'll be a story for another day. So thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe. Do not forget to comment in the comment section. We'll be having a conversation and I'll be happy to be reading from you.